Welcome to the season 15 premiere of The Box Score. I'm your host, Faith Pinnow, and I can't wait to get back to doing what we all love the most, talking sports. The Champions League is back, the Super Bowl just happened, and we have a brand new QB carousel right around the corner. And oh yeah, the NBA has lost its mind with some of these trades. Luckily, we're here to break it all down for you. Let's get to it. Let's start tonight in the NBA, where some huge names like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Russell Westbrook have all moved teams. What does this mean for the season and the future of the NBA? Well, we have our resident basketball experts here to join us tonight. Jackson Tolliver, Matt Doherty, Jeff Grundy, and Jackson Shaw here to break it all down for us today. Starting with Matt. What did that three-way trade look like for the Lakers? Are they finally going to be contenders in the West? Do we feel differently about them tonight?
I do. I feel very differently because the Lakers solved three of their biggest needs, in my humble opinion. They needed to get younger. They did that with Vanderbilt and Beasley especially. They needed to get better shooting. They did that with all of them, but Russell is shooting 50% from the field, or from three the last month. Beasley's a great shooter as well all the time. Mm-hmm. The third and potentially the most important issue that the Lakers needed to solve was the Russell Westbrook problem that got him shipped out of town, and now they're much better off.
Couldn't have done it faster.
Let me just toss this in. The Lakers coveted 2027 first-round pick. You know, the eighth grader who's going to be phenomenal, allegedly. Yep. Anyway, they dished that off. It's like, all right, whatever. They needed to part with that pick. Top four protected. No one seems to be talking about the fact that that pick is top four protected. Absolutely love this trade for Los Angeles. I think they're a contender in the West moving forward.
Seriously.
Playoffs?
I do.
Are we thinking playoffs? Guys, let me open it up for y'all.
It isn't finals quite yet, but it's certainly a playoff level team at this point. I completely agree with most of what you said. The shooting, exponentially better. Malik Beasley, 22 minutes last night, shot 50%, 8 from 16 off 3, too. That's a high volume of three-point shots, too. You know, we're not talking small numbers here. He's a phenomenal shooter. D'Angelo Russell, veteran now. He left a boy, he comes out a man. You know what I mean? Classic story. He leaves, goes to the Nets, becomes an all-star.
No more snaking Nick Young.
Struggles a little bit in Minnesota, but then comes back to the Lakers, and now he's ready to contribute. You know, younger than Russell Westbrook, still more in his prime than Russell Westbrook was. I don't like the rhetoric, you could say, of Russell Westbrook is a bad teammate. Russell Westbrook is a cancer in the locker room.
I love that rhetoric.
I don't really like that rhetoric because from what I've heard, it's not necessarily true. From what I've heard from people who played with him, people have come out in the last week saying he's one of the best teammates I've ever had. Incredible acts of service. I think Russell Westbrook is a good guy. Much more so than Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Oh, but yes, we will.
I think that, I think the Lakers solved a lot of problems. It's still not going to be their year quite yet because the West is still competitive, as we'll get into. But I think that this is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm giving them good.
My biggest fear right now is, yeah, sure, they got younger, they got rid of the pieces they need to, they can kind of focus up a little more, but it just doesn't seem like they want it necessarily. And obviously every team wants it, but when you look at the Lakers, you watch them play, it's LeBron trying to carry a not so great team, they're falling by 10 every game. So it's hard to watch. It just doesn't, he got his scoring record, it just doesn't feel like they're into it as much. I just don't see the spark in that team that I do on most of the teams in on the East Coast or even the Suns now with their new addition.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about a spark on the West. Jeff, how are we feeling about the Suns and what they did before the trade deadline?
Boy, am I sad that the Phoenix Suns are good. It's a sad, sad day. I mean, I don't know. I had such high hopes for Kevin Durant. I wanted Kevin Durant to go change the Raptors. I wanted him to finally make the Heat a great team.
Give me a break.
So
I wanted him with the Grizzlies.
So you're unhappy with this trade now?
I am. I'm unhappy that the Phoenix Suns are a good team now.
Okay, so they're a good team and you're unhappy. Let's make that clear.
I don't think you'll be unhappy for long, Jeff, because this team is going to flame out in the playoffs just like the Brooklyn Nets did, in my humble opinion. I mean, super teams, we've seen it. They just don't work anymore is really what it comes down to. The Nets was an absolute failure. In my opinion, the biggest failure of a team in NBA history. I mean, they had expectations to be a dynasty.
I think we learned a lot.
We thought they were going to win 3 in a row, 4 in a row, and they couldn't even make it to the finals. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, KD was close, and they came close, but you know, obviously circumstances happen, but super teams crumble now in the modern age of the NBA.
Yeah, that's why I wanted KD to be paired up with another All-Star. I wanted the Raptors
with two.
to
He's
trade
paired with two.
I mean, yeah, cool. On
But
the
maybe a
Suns.
younger
Like,
one.
that doesn't
The
matter.
Suns
It
are
doesn't
not so
matter.
bushly. They were
We're
in the
talking
finals
about
a
my
few years
dreams.
ago.
We're talking about a place where I'm happy and Kevin Durant is on a good team. I want the Heat to get rid of Kyle. I want them to get rid of Duncan Trash Can Robinson.
Hey.
I want KD to be in the
Okay.
Heat jersey.
Okay. Tolliver, what do you want? Listen, like, I mean, what do you want for? Let's switch. Let's switch to these. What do you want for the Bucks?
The Bucks.
What do you want for the Bucks? What do you think they got? What they should have gotten, and what they deserve?
As a former Celtics player, I obviously have a bias towards Jay Crowder. But I think he is a phenomenal player. I mean, look at his career. In the last 3 years he's played, he's been in the NBA Finals twice. This is a guy who'll give you 30 minutes off the bench, 10 points, super easy, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, whatever. He'll shoot over 30% from the 3. He can space the floor. He's a contender, and he plays hard. He plays hard. He can play defense. I don't know why the Suns, the Suns obviously had some controversy with the ownership issue, whatever, and they just sort of made this decision in the background that, we're going to go with Cam Johnson as our starting guy. And Jay Crowder, sorry, we're just going to try to trade you. And it took them months and months to do it, wasting a tremendous asset just sitting on his couch basically watching. But people have forgotten just how good this guy is and what he can add to a team. And the Bucks obviously on a 10 streak right now. I'm not sure what the Celtics score is. Hopefully they're going down right now. Right. But regardless, they're on a 10 streak and they're obviously a contender. The Celtics and the Bucks are the contenders, and Jay Crowder gives them a little bit of an edge.
A lift,
a lift. I wouldn't say they're over the Celtics quite yet, but they're neck and neck. And if they're not in the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't know who is.
Yeah.
My biggest worry for the Bucks right now is if they can stay healthy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, they need Middleton to kind of settle down. They need Giannis to stay healthy if they want to make a run in the playoffs. But if they are able to stay healthy with that lineup, I think they can really, really, really make
This
some
is
damage.
important, keeping people healthy and keeping people on the floor. And if you think that we haven't figured out enough ways to hate on the Nets by proxy, you're wrong. Let's talk about what the Mavericks did.
Who cares? That's my thing. Oh, wow,
A lot of
cool.
people care.
Cool, you got
A lot of people
they
care.
got Kyrie. Clearly, I mean, to be fair, they've only played a few games. Nonetheless, it doesn't scare me at all.
I agree.
It doesn't make me. If I'm playing the Mavs, sure, Luka's a threat, Kyrie's a threat. They're all threats, but it's not going to put them over the edge. It's not going to put them over the edge.
Kyrie and Luka are big threats,
because
though.
listen,
Like,
They are. They're big threats. They're big threats, but
here's the thing.
they're both very ball-oriented players.
Okay, yeah.
Also, if we're
Yes.
talking long-term, the Mavericks are not going to be able to keep Kyrie. He's going to go somewhere that he wants, and he's going to destroy a different
But that's
team.
not the point because Luka's described playing with him as fun. Jason Kidd talked about a game watching the both of them where they lost. He described that as great basketball.
It's great basketball.
You mean the one where he was
but
just...
what I'm saying is they're happy and they're excited to have this team put together.
Well, listen,
and finally they can bunker down and actually do something.
I'm not even going to go on to chemistry. You have no front court. You have no interior defense at all. You gave away DFS, who is probably the best defender on the team.
Agree.
Yeah.
And now you have
Yep.
who are Dwight Powell at center.
Right.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is going
It
to carry
didn't
these
work.
guys
We were
to a championship.
No.
And you have the two most ball-dominant guards in the NBA. You have Kyrie. You want to talk about a locker room cancer? Let's talk about Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Tears down every team he's a part of. I mean, this team, it's just not going to happen. They're going to flame up too. I think the Warriors are going to win the West.
I have a question.
Flames.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Are we sure that this Mavericks team, as presently constructed, is better than they were last year in the Western Conference Finals?
That's my thing. No.
I
It's
agree.
just the same but different. It's the same team. It's the same word, but a different font.
I think it's a very
the same
different
thing.
team, but it's going to be the same result.
I think
Fine.
they're worse
They're
on
gonna do
defense.
well.
Yeah,
If you're a Mavs fan, you're happy you get to watch a little basketball
Yeah.
going into
That's
April
what I'm
and
saying.
May.
You're
But
just watching good basketball.
All right. Then let's quickly touch on what the Nets did right in this
Let me
trade.
talk about
Let's
it.
talk about it quickly.
Let me talk about
because
the
they
Nets.
really didn't pick up a lot. Talk about it.
I love the Nets right now, and here's why. They got rid of it. They're done. Cool.
Whoa.
We messed up. We tried to make a super team again. It clearly did not work. Let's settle down, all right? We got some key role players that are going to lead us, and they're going to be very good team players. Don't have to worry about the distractions now with KD being gone, Kyrie being gone, Harden left earlier.
You just got to worry about
It's
Ben
just settled.
Simmons.
And that's fine. They had Ben Simmons coming off the bench. They understand he's not Ben Simmons anymore, and he hasn't been for 3-4 years. They need to understand that now they can focus, they can play basketball. I would not be shocked if they win a playoff
The
series
Nets
this
to me
year.
feel like a bad 2K rebuild that like you didn't quite have time to finish. Like you just go through all the trades in the trade finder and you end up with like 6 small forwards
you know what
and
it
like
seems to me?
no
You wanna know what it
The
seems
guy
like?
who shoots threes really good.
they're all the
Great
same.
contract.
They messed
all
up.
right,
They started
all right.
a new season, and now they're
Exactly.
like,
I'm excited.
we're
We'll
good.
talk more 2K later. For now, we're going to head to commercial here. But when we come back, be ready for some in-depth analysis on the biggest game in American sport as we break down the Super Bowl. Stay right there.
All right, coming back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera 1. Camera 1, get a wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take it. Talent cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a
WPI
shot of the players
10
coming across the
points.
court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As the
Camera
team
2 close upon the
finishes
person
their
shooting.
timeout. Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this big
Camera 1, get a close up, follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
And when I arrive at my destination, I'm gonna kill Bill.
What? Oh! Okay, cutting. Sorry, can we get some of this?
Where in God's name is the gaffer's tape? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Casey, and we're the National Broadcasting Society.
Come out to some of our weekly workshops or work on some of our sets.
Explore the bigger picture with NBS.
We'll see you there.
All right, let's get another take. Camera, sound.
Hi, I'm Mary Malloy, the host of Speechless, and you're watching the Emerson Channel.
Kansas City Chiefs won Super Bowl 57. Mahomes has his second. Are the Chiefs officially a dynasty? What was that holding call? And is Patrick Mahomes the best QB of all time? 57 left us with a lot to think about, which is why I have my guys, Jackson Tolliver, Jackson Shock, and Matt Doherty here to answer all of the questions that game has given us. Over to you first, Shock. Should the Chiefs have even won the Super Bowl, and was that holding?
Look, I'm not going to talk about if the Chiefs should have won or not. Congratulations to the Chiefs. They did great. I'm proud of them. Go them. What I am really, really upset about is the ending of that disappointing Super Bowl. That was just so anticlimactic. The holding call there should not have been called. It's a soft, lazy play. Not lazy, but it's just something that should be able to fly in the Super Bowl, the biggest stage. We could have seen overtime for the first time since Atlanta and the New England Patriots. That was really fun. So let's get into it. This is the play right here, all right? Seems like nothing. Everyone's happy if you're an Eagles fan, not so happy if you're a Chiefs fan, but let's look at it. Patrick doesn't like it, but James Bradbury, he's going to get that. That's clean. This is what they're going to call, and that's what's going to effectively end the Super Bowl this year. And if you looked at Twitter, if you looked anywhere on social media, you look at the comment section of the NFL,
If you
one's
were
happy.
breathing
If you
and
were
on the
breathing,
media.
no one is happy with
You
that
know
ending.
what? All right, great.
Yeah.
But look at the Philadelphia Eagles in their post-game press conference. James Bradbury included. Every single player did not use this as an excuse. Bradbury admitted it was a hold. Sirianni admitted it was probably a hold. If you're not going to enforce the rules that have been in place all season in the NFL, if you're not going to do it in the last 2 minutes of the Super Bowl, When are you going to
Look, that's perfectly fine. But if you just want to watch good football, you don't want that call. Look at the NFL. Don't look at the NFL. Look at the NHL. Look at the NBA. You play hard, physical basketball and hockey when you're in the playoffs. That's what they need to do here. In addition to that, no one's going to wear a ref's jersey.
Yeah,
when they're
exactly.
All right,
young,
so let's
right?
talk about who's
no one
playing
wants
hard.
The refs.
Let's talk about the Chiefs. Let's talk about what the Chiefs did right. Let's not just talk about this play that, yeah, we can all agree. I mean, well, maybe we can't all agree. Jock and I can agree that
Shouldn't have been called.
Yeah, events at the end of the game. What did the Chiefs do right? Let's talk about it.
For me personally, I think the Chiefs have showed the world that it is no longer defense wins championships, it's offense wins championships. Everybody was ragging on the Chiefs at the beginning of the year. Travis Kelce said it post-game. Nobody had the Chiefs coming out of the AFC, but they did it because they have the greatest quarterback in the NFL right now, by far, in my opinion. I don't think it's even close. I think Hurts outplayed him this game, but I think that Mahomes still had a crazy game. Kelce is creeping up to Rob Gronkowski, his greatest tight end of all time. Absolutely. I think that...
Let's talk about other people. Pacheco, Smith-Schuster.
Yeah, you know,
they
Pacheco is a diamond in the rough.
Right. One person I really want to talk about is the head coach, Andy Reid.
Yeah.
He is 100% the reason why they won the Super Bowl. I can promise you that. Look at that play right there. You see, they ran that twice for 2 touchdowns. Run him on the jet, get him back. No one covered him. The Eagles totally fell apart because they couldn't follow a man. It just didn't work for the Eagles because Andy Reid outsmarted them, and his whole coaching staff. It wasn't just Andy Reid, but the whole coaching staff was able to outsmart the Eagles, and that's the reason they won the Super Bowl.
And the Eagles defense didn't show up either. The secondary definitely didn't show up.
So I would use that and push back against your point that defense no longer wins championships. You look at this game, who made more defensive plays? There weren't a lot to be had, but it absolutely was the Kansas City Chiefs in that one fumble return for a touchdown, almost 2.
And
the Eagles defense just did not show up, and for that reason, they just were not able to get the win.
Right, all right, but the Eagles did do some stuff right, and I felt like for the first half they were really driving this game. Yeah. What else did they do right? Yeah, that fumble for the scoop and score, that
it hurts. Yeah.
It hurt, but they did so much.
You have to look past
right.
that. 3 touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns, 1 in the air, 3 on the ground, 304 yards in the air, 70 on the ground. You know, he's still it's obvious that Hurts is legit. Before the season coming in, nobody really knew if he was legit. We knew he was good, but could he be good? He just took his team to the Super Bowl when a lot of people thought at the beginning of the season it wasn't possible.
Right. Last season we were having this conversation. We were saying, we were sitting right here and we were saying Eagles, contenders, or pretenders.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people said.
pretenders.
I think the strategy was, heading into this game for Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen, was to keep Mahomes off the field as much as possible, right? And they did that in the first half, and it worked brilliantly. Yep. Now, the brilliance and the greatness of Patrick Mahomes is the fact that he just didn't work in the second half. He's just going to make every single play possible, and so...
This is also an injured Patrick Mahomes.
Quite frankly, I think if that game's 3 minutes longer, we've got another great opportunity.
If maybe the refs didn't blow the game.
And I think one more shout out I want to give out is to that Eagles O-line. 3 of those touchdowns Jalen Hurts scored were on the 1-yard line. They were about this high.
That rollout play.
It really was.
Travis gets all the flowers, but Jason Kelce is also an all-time great.
Maybe the greatest center ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, obviously, but nobody talks about it because he's O-line. So
I think it was a game really well played. I think to watch it was thrilling.
It was the best 58 minutes of a Super Bowl I maybe have ever seen.
Yeah.
And the last 2 minutes, conversely, were maybe the worst.
Those last 2 minutes ruined it.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I think it was the right call. Me personally.
We're not even going to try to touch into this. We're actually going to take another break here, but don't move. When we come back, it's back to the return of the Champions League. Who do we think is this year's winner? Biggest disappointment? Most likely to make a surprise run for it? Stick around to find out.
What's up? I'm Jamie Sanders, host of MTV Games, and welcome to my set. Where are the contestants? I lost the contestants. Where are the contestants? Oh, hey there. I'm Jamie Sanders, host of MTV Games. What am I doing in a ball pit? Hello? Hello? What am I doing in a ball pit? I'm all alone. Please watch the show.
It's been 94 days since the ball was last kicked in Europe's biggest tournament, but we've finally reached the knockout round of the Champions League. I'm joined again by Jeff Grundy, Jackson Tolliver, and Matt Doherty to help break down what we can expect to see. It's all you, Matt. Who do you have winning the tournament?
All right, so this might surprise some people, okay, after the day we just had, but I still believe it's Paris Saint-Germain, okay? Hey. Let me talk. I say this because, actually, of what we saw today. What did we see today? We saw PSG and Bayern. By the way, Bayern, a team who has historically had PSG's number. Okay. They come out very flat in the first half. Who isn't on the field for PSG? Oh, it's Kylian Mbappe, the best and most dangerous footballer in the world right now. Massive difference. If you were watching that game, which I was paying attention as analysts to, I was dialed in to when Mbappe came on the field. That entire game shifted. The energy shifted. Now, they weren't able to make anything happen, even though Mbappe did hit the back of the net twice. It was called back both times. I say this because the team with the most dangerous player in the world needs to be considered the favorite, along with the greatest player of all time. I haven't even mentioned him. You have the greatest distributor probably ever in Lionel Messi, and you have the most dangerous player in the world right now in Kylian Mbappe. I can't not consider these guys favorites.
To me, PSG reminds me of the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay.
Because they have the firepower, but they lack in the midfield. The defense has sort of went down a little bit.
Ramos had a great game today.
Sure he did.
But you've also got to be
but he's
worried
older.
about. You got to be worried about injuries.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
that's
certainly,
why we lost.
Kylian, obviously going into the next game, they got to score at least 2 goals to win, right?
Shouldn't be a problem.
Right, but I think it should be a problem because I think Kylian Mbappe came on and the game changed, but I think it's more because Bayern runs out of gas, which is sort of common, and they give up too many chances late in the game as they did today. The first half they had it on lock. And the second half, it did coincide with when Mbappe came in, and I think it's a combination. Mbappe is obviously a great player. I'm not going to take away anything from Mbappe. He's a world-class talent. But I think Bayern runs out of gas. But by the time they run out of gas, I think that they'll already have put forward maybe even another goal on their home field. I don't see PSG getting 2 goals again that late in the game. Obviously today they did score 2 goals. Both of them were disallowed. By Mbappe. So,
he's so fast, he's running offside.
He's just running way offside.
He is.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, we're going to come to who you have. Jeff, who do you have winning the tournament?
I have Napoli. And I think I want to refer to a phrase that the Neapolitans say, Vendi Napoli e poi mori. Say Napoli and die. Victor Osimhen, 17 goals in 18 games. Kvaratskhelia, Caradonna. I mean, come on. The last time these guys won the Scudetto, Cher had the #1 song on radio, and Maradona was on the team.
Okay.
Yep.
These guys are breaking all of the standards. They're breaking all of the rules. Manager Luciano Spalletti has told the media and his players they must be ready to destroy themselves on the pitch to get a result. They're facing Frankfurt. At the end of the day, what are we worried about? You guys are playing, PSG's playing Bayern. I'm playing Frankfurt. I do not need, they're 6th in the Bundesliga.
But then who are you going to play down the line if you beat Frankfurt? You're picking them to win a championship, not to get out of the first round.
We'll take all of them. We'll take all of them. Kvaratskhelia has taken Mo Salah's swagger. He's taken his whole energy, like in Space Jam. He sucked it out of him. This kid is going to blow up the next transfer budget of one of your guys' clubs, just like Victor Osimhen is. I mean, we're talking about $100 million+ players.
All right.
This is a team that's going to go far.
Jeff, I'm excited, and I love your enthusiasm. Tolliver, who do you have winning this tournament?
Bayern. I gotta go with Bayern.
This guy stinks.
Listen, I think Bayern's window is now. They have, Muller's on his way out. We know that.
Really, because we started a 16-year-old today, so.
Okay, obviously, sure, we started a 16-year-old, and let's talk about that 19-year-old. Musiala. Musiala is a future top 5 player.
Future
He
Red
is
Devil.
a future top 5 player, maybe even top 3. He's going to be in the Mbappe and Haaland conversation.
Haaland's not in that conversation anymore.
He's going to be in that conversation.
Mbappe.
Let me just give you some stats. For a 19-year-old, he is... obviously, as I said, future top 3 in my opinion. He's 4th in the Bundesliga in goals, 3rd in assists. Him and Jude Bellingham are going to take the world by storm as they already have. And those guys, once they make the move to the Prem, which I hope they do eventually,
for Manchester United,
they're going to tear it up. It's
gonna
going to be disgusting.
Do you know what's a name you haven't mentioned?
Oh, who?
Sadio Mane.
Yeah, let's talk about Sadio Mane.
Let's do it.
Sadio Mane, and he's not the first thing that you're talking about.
We didn't even need him today. Sadio Mane is going to be back hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so after they beat PSG inevitably in the second leg, finally put him to bed. Sadio Mane is
Whoa,
going to
he's coming
come
after
back,
you, Matt.
and they're going to be running up the field with more pace than can be imagined by the
Pace?
human mind.
We're talking about pace. We have Kylian Mbappe on our team. So
Okay.
He
we're
runs
talking about
faster
pace.
than
But
a
not for-
Volkswagen
All right, yeah, what do
You
you have
won't
to say?
have
He's
Mbappe out
slandering
there for long.
PSG. What's your
okay.
comeback for this?
Let's hear it.
I love Bayern. I actually don't. I don't know why I said that. I really do not like Bayern at all. And they're good. They're solid. They always perform well in the Champions League. A guy who I didn't even bring up, Neymar. You ever heard of Neymar?
I think I've heard of that guy.
Quite a good player. So
I think I've heard of him.
I like PSG again simply because of the Mbappe effect. And by the way, Benjamin Pavard didn't mention that on a red card for Bayern Munich next game. Those wings are going to be a little more vulnerable. Guess who loves attacking up the wings? Neymar and Mbappe.
Pavard's
I say
probably
good
the
luck.
worst defender that they have. Let's talk about
This is going to be good. We're actually not going to talk about this quite yet. Save it. We can talk about it next episode. The tournament just started. We're going to take our final break of the episode, but when we come back, it's officially the offseason for football, and we have our way too early predictions for where the biggest free agent quarterbacks could land. Stay right there.
Black Beatles in the city, be back immediately to confiscate the monies. You sent flowers, but you said you didn't receive. You just said you didn't need. That girl is a real crowd, please. Small world, all her friends know of me. Young bull living like an old geese. Quick release the cash, watch it fall slowly. Frat girl still trying to get in. Haters mad for whatever reason. Smoke in the air, binge drinking. They lose it when the DJ drops the knee. Getting so gone, I'm not blinking. What in the world was I thinking? New day, new money to be made. There is nothing to explain.
The NFL offseason has just started, and many quarterbacks' futures are up in the air. Not all of us have time to wait for darkness retreats to end, which is why Matt Doherty, Jeff Grundy, Jackson Chalk, and Jackson Tolliver are all back to give their opinions on where the season's quarterback carousel will take us. Will Lamar Jackson stay for the Ravens? Will Aaron Rodgers retire? And what teams are their best suitors? Jeff, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking about a certain two-time Pro Bowler named Lamar Jackson.
Oh, wow.
I personally believe that the best thing for Lamar Jackson is a homecoming of sorts. I want him to leave the Ravens and go to the Miami Dolphins. Yep. I want
Do we
him.
actually think that's going to happen?
I don't need to think that it's going to happen.
You just
I'm
want to
gonna
believe?
It'd be fun.
I'm going to believe. It would be
Okay.
so much fun. Mike McDaniels-led offense, the best weapons he's ever had in his career, and he's really close to home, which is what matters at the end of the day.
Right.
But no, other suitors, Falcons, would love to see him with Arthur
that's-
Smith. They have great cap space.
I'm not sold on Arthur Smith.
Really?
Yeah, not at all.
I am, because he made Marcus Mariota look like a starting quarterback.
They were good last season.
Weapons like Drake London, Tyler Algier. But also, let's move him to the Jets. Let's take him to New York.
He's going to play for 3 teams next year?
I wish. He would bring all 3 of them to the playoffs.
How do you think somebody like Jackson would, not you guys, somebody like Lamar Jackson would gel with the Jets offense?
So listen, the Jets offense, they're gonna bring Breece Hall back, and then you go into like a run-heavy type offense under Salah. I think that's a tremendous like scheme for them. With Lamar Jackson, you obviously still throw the ball. You got Garrett Wilson, the reigning fresh offensive rookie of the year. You have a tremendous, and the defensive rookie of the year. Like the Jets can be a good team if they have the right.
My biggest thing with this too, GM Joe Douglas spent 15 years with the Ravens as a scout. This is a man who can talk to that organization and hopefully loosen up a couple of screws and try to get that guy onto his team.
One thing I want
He
to
can
say,
make some things happen.
I love Lamar. I probably love Lamar more than all you combined.
Probably.
That being said,
Probably.
2 things scare me here. 3 things scare me here. That's how scared I am.
Wow.
1, cap space. He wants a lot of money. 2,
Dementors.
he hasn't played a healthy season in 2 years. He hasn't finished a season in 2 years. 3 would be that he's only won a playoff game, and he's never really been the guy to bring a team back down late in the 4th quarter. He can't do that yet. Now, can a coach fix that? Maybe. And will a better offense fix that? Maybe, but I just don't see that. I don't see that happening.
I just don't know if he's going to be brought back. I don't know if he's going to sign with the Ravens. I don't know if he's going to be their franchise quarterback.
They're going to tag him.
Somebody
They're going to tag him.
Franchise
let him
tag.
free.
Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to retire? Like
He really,
is he going to?
Aaron Rodgers really is the most interesting man in the world right now, in a lot of ways.
At this point, yes.
This is a guy, got a beautiful big mind.
This is a guy.
Free thinker,
Oh,
a little outside the
Thinks
box.
a little too much.
So where's he going to go?
You could argue, I'm getting there, okay? After he emerges from his darkness retreat, he's going to emerge into the black hole that is the Las Vegas Raiders.
Wow.
In that
The
stadium.
lights of Las Vegas.
Yes, well, it's a very dark stadium.
I like it.
So,
Yeah,
I
listen,
love it.
like Lamar's a guy that you can put into a rebuilding team and you have time to rebuild around him. Aaron Rodgers has got to be on a win-now team. And of the teams that need a quarterback and are a win-now team, it comes down to the Raiders and the Jets for me. The Raiders, with the right piece and a guy who can get under center, throw it out of the shotgun, like Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams, to the weapons they have.
they've had some success together.
Yeah, they would have some pretty significant success, I would assume. I don't think Derek Carr is a bad quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers is a tremendous step up from Derek Carr. I don't think that we can debate that. I think Aaron Rodgers is obviously tremendously better than Derek Carr. I think McDaniels, he had a bad first year, but they showed promise. They showed glimpses. I think they still have a solid defense, and Aaron Rodgers could bring this team to the next level in my eyes.
McDaniels is one of the
not out there yet.
greatest offensive minds in this league when he is paired with an all-time great quarterback. That's not saying much, but that's what he's done. All right.
I'm the greatest NBA player when I'm 6'8" and 300 pounds.
Hey, give that guy the fastest car. He's still the fastest. All right. Give him Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
He's gonna be great.
You give him the tools. Okay, let's talk about somebody else who's been a great tool for their team. Geno Smith. Shock?
Let's talk about Geno, because I love Geno. Geno had a great season.
I do too.
It was for everybody was rooting for him. That being said, I think Seattle's going to give him a big contract that he deserves off that last season.
He
Not
does.
crazy big. He's not going to get crazy money, but he's going to get paid. All right, and they still have a great, not a great QB locker room, but they've got a good enough one that if he goes down because, let's face it, he's old, it's okay. That being said, I don't know long term. I don't know if that's going to be any different. I think if you give them any other pieces, even if they have a great defense, they have a great offensive line, which is not easy to do. Which is not easy to do in one season. I still don't think they have what it takes to win a Super Bowl right now. I think they're just missing. They're missing a great young quarterback, and I don't think they're going to get that with Geno. But I think that Geno will get them to the playoffs again. I just don't know if they can win a Super Bowl with him.
So are they going to stick with? Is Geno going to stick with?
Geno, I
gonna
think
stick
when
around?
offered the contract by Seattle, I think it would be preposterous if he did not sign that contract.
Exactly.
Because that's the one team that he was able to become himself again. He's not going anywhere else. Who knows what happens? Who knows how the locker room works?
And
Those guys in the locker room love him because of his story. If he
Yeah.
goes somewhere else, he's going to have to rebuild that chemistry. He's going to, and I'm not saying that's not impossible, but it just seems very easy to just keep him going and keep him in that same path.
We all just wrote off the Seahawks at the beginning of the season.
Oh my God!
There were
Last
people who
season,
thought they wouldn't even get a win.
Geno Smith, I'm so sorry that I was this hard on him.
And he comes back and leads his team to the playoffs over the Aaron Rodgers, a guy that we just talked about, leads his team over the Lions, who became good. Like teams that were like good, he took them to the playoffs over them, proved us all wrong. We were all hating on him, and he showed that he said to the doubters, he said to the haters, "I'm still here. I think he will still be in Seattle when it's all over."
Okay. Just while you bring up the doubters, the haters, and the playoffs all in one, let's talk about Jimmy G. What is he going to do? What's his next move?
Well, I'm a doubter. I'm a hater. Definitely not making it to the playoffs. He needs to go home.
Jimmy G is the same thing as Aaron Rodgers. He needs to be on a win-now team, but kind of like Derek Carr, significantly lower on that scale. He's, Jimmy G and Aaron Rodgers should not even be in the same conversation.
Exactly.
So if you put Jimmy G on a team like the Raiders, I've been hearing a lot of buzz around Jimmy G and the Raiders. Yes, they're still a good team because they have the best wide receiver in the league, probably. Top three. You can't argue that. Yep. But is he good enough to take them to where they should be, to where those players want to get themselves to with that much talent? I would say no.
I won't give them a win-now team. I won't give them a win-now team because we gave them a win-now team, and the San Francisco 49ers didn't win a Super Bowl.
Sure.
And that's
So what are you giving him then?
So that's what I'm saying. We don't give them a win-now team. We throw them on a rebuilder. Give them to the Colts.
No. I think give him a spot on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the best he's going to get at this point is going to be either a spot on a rebuild team for a little while or a spot on the bench. That's what I think. Honestly, he's either injured or he's on a team that's not doing well, and that's what he's been doing.
I've got two things. One, if I'm the Jets, I 85%. I'm 100% sure that I'm 85% sure that I want Jimmy G over Aaron Rodgers for two reasons. One, Aaron is old. He's old. He's weird. He thinks on retreats.
Sorry, he's a free
no
thinker.
one wants. That's perfectly fine. He can go free think somewhere else while he's in a cave in Manitoba. Who knows? But if I'm the Jets, I really like Jimmy G there because it's a good enough team that he can get there. He has plenty of pieces. They have a young, bright future. He's not that old. Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers has tried to retire as many times as I've been on this show, which isn't that many, but it's still a lot. That's one thing. Second, if I'm San Francisco, why would you want to let him go? After the season you had last year, that disappointment, you saw it. They interviewed all these players, and they were like, oh, I'm not even watching the Super Bowl. I don't want to see this. Oh, we should be there, blah, blah, blah. They want like 50 quarterbacks if they can get them. I would keep Trey, I would keep Brock, and I would keep Jimmy G because you need all of them. And you need all of them because none of them can stay healthy.
Keep Brock
Keep them all. Don't get Brady while you can, too.
We just finished the Super Bowl.
Get them all.
On that note, that's all we have for you tonight. Don't forget to tune into episode 2 of The Box Score as we continue an excellent season 15. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at EIV The Box Score. You can also follow me at faith.pinnow. For Jeff Grundy, Matt Doherty, Jackson Shock, Jackson Tolliver, I'm Faith Pinnow. And this has been The Box Score. Thanks for tuning in.
Let's get these things up.
All right.